In this video, we'll go through some key concepts of video pre-production, which is really necessary to have any sort of successful video project. Oftentimes, students don't pay attention to the fact that there are multiple phases that they should go through when making a video project. There's a pre-production phase where you'll do things like script, you might outline, you might do some storyboarding to get a sense of what your shots are going to look like. You'll want to set up locations and any technical training that you'll need in order to make this video. Then there's a production phase where you're actually going to be doing the filming part of it. And then there's a post-production phase where you're going to take all that film and you're going to add music and sound effects or whatever you need and edit everything together. If you need to reshoot things at that time, then you'll have to go do it then and bring it back into your project. This model of production isn't just something that teachers have made up to force students to do even more work on their videos. It's something that actually comes from the movie industry itself. And they don't do this because it's a bad way of going about making video. If we look at some of the common things that we hear from instructors about their student video projects, we hear a lot of students make videos that really look unprofessional, or they make videos where they're clearly just recording themselves and they're winging it for a long time, or they make videos that are kind of boring because it's just sort of everything looks the same. There's no variance in the shots that they have. And all of these issues, these very common issues that instructors have, can be solved with having good pre-production. And again, pre-production is something that real companies and, blockbuster movies go through, not because it is something a teacher told them to do, but because it saves time and it makes a much better project. So how does paying attention to pre-production actually save time? Well, it's very inefficient to just show up with everybody and shoot a bunch of film as kind of a rough draft and then try to go back and see like, well, did we like it or not like it? I guess we'll have to go film it again. Another thing that pre-production is great and will save you time by not having to go back and redo everything is if during that pre-production process you learn sort of a few technical aspects of video, you can make sure that you won't wander into a few technical issues that will never be able to be fixed in post-production. They will never be able to be fixed after filming. So things like if you shoot film at the wrong resolution. Another thing the pre-production process generally does, if you do a storyboard, generate a shot list. Now, for some projects, you're only going to have one shot. It's just going to be sort of a straight-on shot of you as you're going to talk into the camera for a few minutes. So you don't need a shot list then. But for certain video projects, you may want multiple angles or multiple perspectives. And the storyboarding process will give you a shot list, and that will greatly speed up how long it takes you to actually get those shots. Because instead of going into, say, an empty classroom where you're going to film and then trying to think through, okay, what angles do I want here? You'll already have it listed down and you can just sort of check it off and go from top to bottom and know that you won't be missing something once you get to the editing process. Speaking of the editing process, storyboards, if you go through and do some storyboarding, that greatly speeds up how quickly you can edit things together. The reason is that storyboards will give you a visual rough draft of your film so that you'll already have a target in mind when you get into post-production. You'll already have thought through how you want things to look together, and then you just really have to finesse things. Some people, they jump into production, they just start shooting a bunch of stuff with their friends, and then they get into post-production and realize they don't really have any guiding idea or principle. And it takes them a really long time to take that raw footage and edit it into something that looks presentable. As sort of an overview of pre-production, I also want to go through a few key vocab terms that are so basic to filmmaking. The first is a shot. A shot, all it means is a single clip of footage. However, it is a little bit of a slippery term in that people also use it to describe how close a camera is to the subject in the shot. So you can have a long shot, a medium shot or mid shot, a close-up, an extreme close-up, all different types of shots. When you bring a bunch of shots together that are all sort of cohesive in a particular setting, that forms a scene. So a scene is built up of many shots that are cut together. What a cut is it's just going from one shot to another. If I went out with my dog to the beach or a lake for a day, and I wanted to make a little video of this, something I might do is just cut together a few clips of my dog out there playing. Since these are all going to be in the same setting, this is a scene that is built through 3 different shots that are all cut together. And there is a cut between each of these shots as we go from one to another. Finally, transition. A lot of people confuse cut and transition, but transition is actually a video effect. It's something like a fade to black or a cross dissolve. Transitions can also be things that look sort of like bad PowerPoint transitions, Venetian blinds, like a pinwheel wipe where it looks like the film spins around. In general, you'll probably not use too many transitions, and what you will likely use is fade to black or cross dissolve. So as you start video projects, whether it's just going to be one shot of you looking into camera talking for a bit, or perhaps it's going to be something much more involved that's going to have many different angles and many different perspectives, it's important to go through pre-production so that you don't end up wasting time down the road. If you need any help with the pre-production process, you're always welcome to schedule a consultation in the Digital Act Studio. Happy filming.